moving from LA County to Orange County? Watch this video before you move. So, you're thinking about leaving LA County and moving to Orange County. Maybe you're tired of LA. Maybe you want a little more space. Maybe you've got kids now and you're starting to look at different communities. Or maybe you've just spent enough time in Orange County where you've thought, you know what? I can actually see myself living here. But before you start randomly clicking on homes in Irvine, Huntington Beach, or Mission Viejo, there are a few things you need to know because I work with buyers in both LA County and Orange County. And I can tell you right now, Orange County is not just LA County with the nicer beaches and more HOAs. Although there are definitely more HOAs. The homes are different. The neighborhoods feel different. Your commute is going to be different. And depending on where you move, your entire day-to-day lifestyle can change. So in this video, I want to have a real conversation about what it's actually like moving from LA County east to Orange County. We're going to talk about where I would personally start looking. The cities LA County buyers tend to overlook. The commute mistakes I really don't want you to make. And the biggest mistake I see people make when they say, I want to move to Orange County. And stay with me because towards the end of this video, I'm going to give you the 3 questions I ask my own buyers when they're completely overwhelmed and have no idea where in Orange County they should actually live. My name is Christopher Wall. I'm a local real estate agent with Onyx Homes, brokered by First Team Real Estate. I work with buyers throughout LA County and Orange County. And if you're thinking about making this move, comment Orange County down below. Now, even if you are 6 months or a year away, I'll reach out, we'll have a conversation, and I'll help you start figuring out what areas might actually make sense for you. All right, so here's the first thing. When someone tells me, Chris, I want to move to Orange County, my immediate question is, where? And usually they look at me like, Orange County. Yeah, I heard you, but where? Because Orange County has 34 cities, and living in Fullerton is not the same thing as living in Irvine. Irvine is not Huntington Beach, and Huntington Beach is definitely not Mission Viejo. Mission Viejo is in Anaheim. These are completely different lifestyles, different homes, different commutes, and very different price points. So, if you open Zillow or Redfin and just type in Orange County, you're going to drive yourself crazy. You're going to see a condo in Aliso Viejo, then a house in Anaheim, then something in La Habra, then suddenly you're looking at $1.5 million house in Newport Beach, wondering how you even got here. We've all done it. That's not a home search. That's online window shopping. So let's actually break down Orange County down in a way that makes sense. If you're coming from Lakewood, Bellflower, Cerritos, Long Beach, or really southeast LA County, I would probably start looking at North Orange County. And there's a very simple reason for that. It tends to be an easier transition. Think Fullerton, Buena Park, La Habra, parts of Anaheim. You still have established neighborhoods, older homes, traditional streets, local restaurants, and depending on where you are, you can still get back to LA County without feeling like you're planning a weekend road trip. Now, I know somebody watching this is going to say, Chris, I can get from Mission Viejo to LA in 45 minutes. Okay, what time? Because that's important. At 10 o'clock Sunday morning? Sure. Tuesday at 7:30 in the morning, you're having a completely different conversation. And I know this because I drive all over LA County, Orange County showing homes. There are times where I'll look at that map and think, oh, that's not bad. And then I get on the 5 freeway and I immediately regret my life choices. So if your job is still in LA County, or your parents are in LA County, or if you're constantly driving back to see family, North Orange County probably deserves a serious look. Fullerton is a great example because Fullerton doesn't feel like one type of city. You have areas with older character homes. You have larger lots. You have downtown Fullerton. You have more traditional suburban neighborhoods. And you can drive 10 minutes and feel like you're in a completely different part of the city. Buena Park is another one, especially if freeway access matters to you. You've got access to the 5 and the 91, and then there's La Habra. La Habra is interesting because I think some buyers completely forget it exists. And La Habra residents are probably going to get mad at me for saying that. But it's true. It's not sitting directly on a major freeway. So when buyers are searching based on commute, sometimes it doesn't even enter the conversation. But depending on where you work and what you're looking for, it might actually be worth considering. And then we need to talk about Anaheim, because Anaheim gets judged way too quickly. I'll have buyers tell me, I don't want Anaheim. And I'll ask, okay, what part of Anaheim don't you like? And sometimes the answer is, I don't know, just Anaheim. That's like saying you don't like Los Angeles because you drove through one neighborhood once. Anaheim is huge. There are dramatically different areas, different housing, different neighborhoods. This is why I tell buyers, get out of the apps. Seriously, Zillow cannot tell you how a neighborhood feels at 6 o'clock in the evening. A listing photo cannot tell you whether you like the street. And Google Maps definitely cannot tell you if your spouse is going to look at you when you pull up and say, absolutely not. You have to actually go there. Now, let's say you're willing to move a little bit farther into Orange County. This is where cities like Orange, Tustin start to become really interesting. And Orange is probably one of the best examples of why you can't judge an Orange County city by one neighborhood. You have Old Town Orange, historic homes, and restaurants. The Orange Circle, a completely different atmosphere. Then you drive a few miles away, and now you're in traditional suburban neighborhood. Completely different feel. Same city. And Tustin is another area I think buyers should look at, especially the buyers who keeps telling me, I want Irvine. Okay, why do you want Irvine? And that's not criticizing Irvine. Irvine is obviously extremely popular, but I want to know what you actually want. Is it the newer homes? Is it the parks? Is it the schools? Or is it your commute? Is it because your friend told you Irvine is the best place to live? Those are very different reasons, because sometimes when we actually talk about it, the buyer doesn't necessarily need Irvine. They need to be close to Irvine, and that changes the entire search. Now, since I mentioned Irvine, we have to talk about Irvine. Almost every Orange County buyer asks about it, and there's a reason. You have master plan communities, newer homes, parks, shopping, highly regarded schools. But here's where I see buyers make a mistake. They look at the price of the house. That's it. This house is $1 million. This house is also $1 million. Therefore, these houses cost the same. No, they don't. What's the property tax? What's the HOA? Is there another HOA on top of that? Because yes, sometimes there's another HOA on top of the HOA you already have. Is there a Mille Rouge? Are there special assessments? What does the monthly payment actually look like? This is something I'm constantly talking about with my buyers. Stop shopping only by purchase price. Shop by the monthly housing cost you're comfortable with, because you don't experience a purchase price every month. You experience your payment. That's the money leaving your account. And I've seen homes with similar purchase prices have noticeably different estimated monthly costs. So before you fall in love with the kitchen, let's figure out what the house actually costs you. Because that beautiful kitchen isn't going to feel nearly as beautiful when you're eating top ramen every night trying to afford the payment. Now, let's keep moving south. Mission Viejo, Lake Forest, Mesa Viejo, Laguna Niguel, Rancho Santa Margarita. If you're coming from LA County, South Orange County can honestly feel like you went somewhere completely different. You've got hills, master plan communities, toll roads, community parks, HOAs, and, depending on the neighborhood, much newer housing than what you're probably used to seeing in LA County. I work with a lot of buyers who come from areas like Lakewood, Bellflower, and Long Beach. They're used to homes built in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Then I take them into a newer Orange County community, and they walk into the primary bedroom and they're like, wait, the bedroom has its own bathroom? Yes. Welcome to modern home design. But there's always a trade-off. Maybe the house is newer. Maybe the floor plan is better. Maybe you have a huge primary bedroom. Then you walk into the backyard and you're like, where's the rest of it? No, that's your backyard. That's all. You could probably mow the lawn with scissors. And this is something LA County buyers need to understand. Newer doesn't automatically mean better. It means different. In Lakewood, for example, you might buy an older home. Maybe the floor plan is a little strange. Maybe somebody added a room in 1973 and you're still trying to figure out why. But you might have a traditional backyard that's much bigger. A long driveway, a detached garage, mature trees. Then you go into a newer master plan community in Orange County. Beautiful kitchen, open floor plan, attached garage, community pool. But now you have an HOA. What is that? Maybe Middle Ruse. And your neighbor is close enough to know what you're making for dinner. Neither one is automatically bad. You just need to know which trade-offs you care about. And this is something I say to buyers all the time. We're not looking for a perfect house. It doesn't exist. We're trying to figure out which problems you're willing to live with, because every house has something. Even the $2 million homes, trust me, they have problems too. They're just more expensive problems. Now, let's talk about lifestyle. Because this is where I think buyers sometimes buy for their fantasy life instead of their actual life. Here's a perfect example. Someone tells me, Chris, I have to be close to the beach. Okay, I love the beach. How often do you go? Well, and immediately I know where this conversation is going. Maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Then why are we spending hundreds of thousands of dollars more to structure your entire home search around the beach? You could drive there. Now, if you surf 4 mornings a week, completely different conversation. Then proximity to the beach directly affects your life. But buy for the person you actually are, not the person you think you're going to magically become after you get the keys. You're probably not suddenly going to start surfing every morning. You're probably not going to become a professional cyclist. And you're probably not going to spend every Saturday drinking a coffee at the trendy cafe in Newport Beach. Maybe you will, but let's be realistic. What do you actually do now? Do you have kids? Do you spend weekends at parks? Do you eat out a lot? Do you work from home? Do you need an office? Do you commute? Where does your family live? Those questions matter. And speaking of commuting, please, 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 please do not test your commute on a Saturday afternoon. I see people do this. They find a house they love. They drive from the house to work on Sunday. And they say, Chris, it's only 38 minutes. That's fantastic. Do you work Sunday at 11? No. Then that test was completely useless. If you work Tuesday morning at 8, drive the commute Tuesday morning. Then drive back home at the time you'd actually leave work. I know that sounds annoying. Do it anyways. Because there's a massive difference between looking at Google Maps and actually sitting in traffic after a long workday. You might tell yourself, I don't mind an hour commute. And maybe you don't for the first week. Then it's month 8. You're tired, you're hungry, somebody just cut you off on the 405, and you realize you spent 10 hours of your week sitting in your car. That matters. One of the questions I ask my buyers is, where do you physically need to be 3 or more times every single week? Not once a month. Not where your cousin lives. Not the restaurant you like. Where do you need to physically be multiple times every week? That's your anchor. And we start the home search from there. We have to talk about budget. Orange County has a reputation for being expensive. And yes, it can absolutely be expensive. But Orange County is not one housing market. Your money is going to buy something very different depending on the city. And one mistake I see buyers make is getting emotionally attached to the name of the city. I need Irvine. I need Huntington Beach. I need Newport. Why? Again, what problem are we trying to solve? Let's say you work in Irvine. Instead of saying, I need to buy a house in Irvine, what if we said, I want to be within 30 minutes of my job in Irvine? Now, we've completely changed the search. Maybe we look at Tustin, maybe parts of Orange, or Lake Forest, maybe another community fits. The exact cities are going to depend on your budget, commute, and what type of home you're looking for. But my point is, don't fall in love with a city before you understand your options. I would rather help you buy a house that actually fits your life than help you force yourself into a zip code just so you can tell people where you live. Now, should you rent in Orange County before you buy? I get this question a lot, and my answer is maybe. I know, very helpful realtor answer, but it really depends. If you're moving from New York and you've never been to Orange County, yeah, maybe renting makes sense. But if you're moving from Lakewood, come on, you're right there. You have an advantage. Use it. Spend a Saturday in Fullerton. The next weekend, go to Orange. Go eat lunch in Tustin. Drive through Mission Viejo. Go to the grocery store. I know that sounds weird, but go to the grocery store. See what's around you. Drive the neighborhoods at night. Visit the park. Test your commute and tour actual homes. This is something I do with buyers who aren't ready yet. I call it window shopping. We're not trying to find your dream home tomorrow. We're trying to eliminate what you don't like. Maybe you think you want a condo. Then we tour 3 condos and you realize, I absolutely hate condos. Great. That's progress. Maybe you think you need a huge backyard. Then you see what that does to your budget and decide a community park is perfectly fine. Great. Now we know. The more homes you see, the more neighborhoods you experience. The clearer your search becomes. Alright, at the beginning of this video, I told you I would give you the 3 questions I ask buyers who have absolutely no idea where in Orange County they should live. So, here they are. Question number 1. Where do you physically need to be 3 or more times every week? That's your geographic anchor. Question number 2. What monthly housing payment are you actually comfortable with? Not what the lender says you could technically qualify for. Because sometimes a lender will give you a number and you'll look at that payment and say, absolutely not. I want to know the payment where you can still live your life. You can save money. You could go out to dinner. You could take your kids somewhere. You could go on vacation. Whatever matters to you. And question number 3. What are 3 things about your home that you cannot easily change? You could paint. You could replace floors. You could remodel a kitchen. But you cannot pick up your house and move it closer to work. You cannot magically make your lot twice as big. Wouldn't that be nice? And you definitely cannot change your entire neighborhood. Location, lot, neighborhood. Those things matter. So if you're sitting in LA County right now, maybe you're in Lakewood, Bellflower, Long Beach, Cerritos, or somewhere else in LA, then you've been thinking, maybe Orange County makes more sense for us. Don't just start clicking on random houses. Figure out what you're actually trying to improve. Is it your commute, or your neighborhood, the type of home, more space, a newer house, your lifestyle? Once we know that, then we can actually start narrowing down the cities that make sense for you. Because the goal isn't to find the best city in Orange County. There is no best city. The goal is to find the area that fits your life, and that's exactly what I help buyers do. So if you're thinking about moving from LA County to Orange County, comment Orange County down below. You don't need to be ready to buy tomorrow. You can be 6 months away. You can be a year away. We'll have a conversation. We'll look at your budget, your commute, the type of home that you're looking for, and I'll help you start narrowing down which areas might actually make sense. Again, my name is Christopher Wall with Onyx Homes, brokered by First Team Real Estate. Subscribe to the channel because I talk about buying homes, moving throughout LA and Orange County, and what it's actually like living in these communities. And I'll see you in the next video.